Think you know everything about getting through airport security as a senior traveler? Wrong. The TSA industry is hiding 12 game-changing secrets that could save you hours of delays, hundreds in extra costs, and prevent the nightmare scenarios that plague 60% of senior travelers every single day. Here's what they don't want you to know about beating the system, and we're about to expose every single trick. Let's go. Segment 1. The age 75. Loophole. They hope you'll never discover. Picture this. You're 74 years old, standing in that endless security line, watching everyone remove their shoes while your feet are already swelling from the long walk to the gate. You're thinking this is just another painful airport experience you have to endure. Here's what they don't tell you. The moment you turn 75, you've unlocked a secret TSA privilege that allows you to receive expedited screening through risk-based intelligence-driven security. Yeah, that's right. Seniors over 75 can leave on shoes and light jackets through security checkpoints. This isn't some favor they're doing you. It's an official policy most people never hear about. But here's the kicker. TSA personnel have been overheard discussing that they don't even ask for ID when they think someone is not 75. Think about it. If you look younger than your age, you might slip through this loophole earlier than expected. One 77-year-old traveler reported that TSA let her keep her shoes on without even checking her ID. TSA usually allows seniors to go through the security PreCheck line, which means you don't have to remove your shoes or separate laptops or liquids from your carry-on. The industry hopes you'll keep standing in those regular lines like everyone else. If you're approaching 75, start dressing slightly older when you travel. Don't lie about your age, but if TSA assumes you qualify for senior screening, don't correct them. Trust me, they won't question it. Segment 2. The hidden medical equipment money trap. You walk up to security with your CPAP machine, thinking it's just another routine screening. Maybe they'll swab it, maybe they won't. No big deal, right? Wrong. Here's what they don't want you to know. TSA officials have found all types of strange items, including weapons stashed in wheelchairs and other mobility devices, which means they're now subjecting every piece of medical equipment to intense scrutiny that can cost you serious time and money. The industry doesn't want you to know just how risky this process has become for seniors. In 2023, 8,456 out of 604,346 mobility devices were mishandled. That's 1.4%. But it gets worse. Manual wheelchairs had a 60% mishandling rate, while power chairs saw 57.89% of devices mishandled. The most shocking part, repairs and replacements of wheelchairs or wheelchair parts can take months to receive, many requiring superfluous doctor's notes or insurance hurdles. One traveler reported their manual wheelchair was completely totaled by United Airlines in February 2023. Another senior had to wait 4 months for wheelchair repairs after TSA screening damage. The airlines and TSA know this is happening, but they're not advertising these statistics. If you travel with a battery-powered wheelchair, you must arrive at the airport 1 hour prior to the normal check-in time. Get written documentation from your doctor for every device and take photos before handing anything over. This documentation isn't just helpful, it's your legal protection when things go wrong. Segment 3. The medication screening scam. Most seniors fall for you, arrive with your daily pills thinking the 3-1-1 liquid rule applies to everything. You're carefully measuring out tiny bottles, throwing away medications you need, all because you think that's the law. Think again. Here's what the industry hopes you never find out. You can bring liquid, gel, cream, and aerosol medications in your carry-on even if they're more than 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters. That's right, unlimited amounts. The 3-1-1 rule doesn't apply to medically necessary liquids, but somehow, most seniors never learn this crucial exemption. But here's where they get you. TSA officers may test liquids, gels, or aerosols for explosives or concealed prohibited items. If officers are unable to use screening technology to clear these items, you may be asked to open them for vapor analysis. They're basically treating your life-saving medications like potential bombs. The most shocking part, if you don't want your liquid medication to be screened by X-ray or opened, additional steps will be taken to clear the liquid, and you or the traveling guardian will undergo additional screening procedures, which may include AIT screening and a pat-down. They're essentially punishing you for protecting your medications. Pack clearly labeled medications in a bag you can easily remove at security, because these items will be inspected separately from your other luggage. Keep medications in original prescription packaging and bring a note from your pharmacist or doctor. The industry banks on you not knowing these rights exist. Segment 4. The pacemaker implant secret they don't advertise. You have a pacemaker and approach the metal detector expecting the usual hassle. You're prepared for that awkward conversation where you have to explain your medical history to strangers while a line of people wait behind you. Here's what they don't tell you. Passengers with pacemakers and defibrillators should not go through the metal detector. Period. You should not be screened by the WTMD if you have an internal medical device such as a pacemaker. This isn't a suggestion. It's official TSA policy that most agents conveniently forget to mention. But wait, it gets better. Passengers will be screened using advanced imaging technology or another alternative screening method at the checkpoint. If your loved one has an implanted device, their doctor can provide a medical card to present at the airport. This card will not prevent them from being screened, but it's an easy way to communicate information about medical conditions without the awkward explanations. The industry doesn't advertise this because alternative screening takes more time and resources. They'd rather push you through the standard metal detector and hope nothing goes wrong. Some seniors have reported their pacemakers being affected by metal detectors, but TSA doesn't want you to know about these incidents. Before screening begins, inform the TSA officer about the location of any internal medical devices. Consult with your physician prior to flying and get a medical card to present immediately. This isn't just about convenience. It's about protecting your life-saving medical devices from potential interference. Segment 5. The TSA Cares Program. Most seniors never hear about. You're struggling through security, thinking you have to suffer through the standard process. Maybe your arthritis is flaring up. Maybe you're confused about the procedures, but you just assume this painful experience is normal for seniors. Wrong. Here's what they're hiding from you. There's an entire program called TSA Cares that provides assistance to travelers with disabilities, medical conditions, and other special circumstances to ensure a smooth security screening experience. This isn't some limited pilot program. It's been available for years, but they don't exactly advertise it on billboards. But here's the insider secret. If you need additional assistance once you arrive at the security checkpoint, ask a TSA officer to request a passenger support specialist. These people answer your questions, address your concerns, and get you on your way quickly. They're trained specifically to help seniors and people with medical conditions navigate the system. The kicker. Examples where you may request PSS assistance include difficulty following instructions due to a disability or medical condition, having internal or external devices that may affect your ability to use screening technology, and traveling with medically necessary liquids. Basically, if you're a senior with any health concerns, you qualify. Try to call or email 72 hours prior to traveling, 855-787-22227 or TSA Contact Center at say.ddhs.gov. Request a passenger support specialist at the checkpoint when you arrive. The industry doesn't want you to know about this free service because it requires them to provide extra staff and attention, resources they'd rather save for other purposes. Segment 6. The free TSA notification card trick. You're tired of explaining your medical conditions to every TSA agent. Each time you travel, it's the same exhausting conversation about your medications, your medical devices, your limitations, and half the time, the agents act like they've never heard of your condition before. Here's what they don't want you to know. The TSA notification card allows travelers with disabilities to discreetly inform airport security personnel about any medical conditions, disabilities, medical devices on their person, or medications that might impact the screening process. You fill it out once, print it out, and hand it over, instead of having those uncomfortable conversations. And get this, the TSA notification card is available for free. You can download and print it from the TSA's official website. No applications, no fees, no waiting periods. Those with both a TSA notification card and a TSA PreCheck designation may not need to remove shoes, laptops, 311 liquids, belts, or light jackets during screening. But here's what they're really hiding. The card doesn't exempt you from screening, but it does allow for discreet and efficient communication. TSA agents are supposed to be trained on these cards, but many have never seen one because so few seniors know they exist. The industry would rather you struggle through verbal explanations every single time. Download your free TSA notification card immediately, fill it out with all your medical information, and present it discreetly to TSA officers. This simple piece of paper can transform your screening experience from a medical interrogation into a professional, respectful process. Segment 7. The Airport Assistant's Secret. Most seniors waste money. On. You think you need to pay expensive services for airport help. Maybe you've seen those premium airport concierge companies charging $200+ per trip, or you're considering hiring a private travel assistant because navigating airports feels impossible. Think again. Here's what they don't tell you. Airlines help customers with cognitive or developmental disabilities board, deplane, and connect flights completely free of charge. And travelers or their caregivers should call the airline or airport hotline at least 48 hours before the flight to request special assistance. This isn't charity, it's legally required under the Air Carrier Access Act. But it gets better. If you are older than 75, the Federal Transportation Safety Agency will make special accommodations for you when it comes to going through security. The offer usually applies to people over 60. Yeah, you read that right. Some airports extend senior assistance to travelers 60 and older, but they don't exactly blast this information in their marketing materials. The industry hopes you'll pay for services you can get for free. They've created an entire ecosystem of expensive senior travel assistance companies that charge hundreds of dollars for services the airlines are legally required to provide at no cost. These companies aren't doing anything illegal, they're just capitalizing on seniors who don't know their rights. Call the airline or airport hotline at least 48 hours before the flight to request special assistance. Whether it's wheelchair service, mobility aid for medical devices, or help boarding the plane, early arrangements ensure that customized accommodations await at every checkpoint. Stop paying for services that should be free. Segment 8. The Wheelchair Assistance Loophole You Never Knew Existed. You're walking long distances through the airport, thinking wheelchair assistance is only for those who can't walk at all. Your knees are screaming, your back is aching, but you assume you don't qualify because you can technically walk. You're just in pain doing it. Wrong. Here's what the industry hopes you never find out. A carrier may ask the passenger for credible verbal assurance that the passenger needs the service and how the service assists with the passenger's disability. But here's the key. This inquiry must not be focused on the nature of the passenger's disability. They can't demand medical records or detailed explanations. Airlines are required to provide assistance to passengers with a disability as they navigate through different portions of the airport, including assisting you from the terminal entrance to the gate location where your flight is departing, including the security checkpoint. The definition of disability is broader than most seniors realize. The industry doesn't want you to know that walking difficulties, even temporary ones, qualify for assistance. They'd rather you suffer through those mile-long airport corridors because providing wheelchair assistance costs them money and resources. Some airports are so large that even healthy young people struggle with the distances involved. Request wheelchair assistance even if you can walk short distances. State that it helps with your mobility limitations during long airport navigation. You don't need to prove you're disabled enough. If long walks cause you pain or fatigue, you qualify. The airlines would prefer you don't know this, but it's your legal right under federal law. Segment 9. The security bypass statistics they don't want you to know. You think airport security is ironclad, and you have to follow every rule perfectly. One mistake, one wrong turn, and you're expecting to be tackled by federal agents and dragged off to some security office for hours of questioning. Here's what they're hiding. Since March 2023, more than 300 people have bypassed airport security by skipping ID checks or going the wrong way through exit lanes. And get this, about 85% were stopped in the checkpoint area. All people who were caught skipping TDC podiums were still screened by metal detector or body scanner. So much for that ironclad security system. But wait, it gets worse. TSA said the vast majority do not seem to have evil intent. Some travelers bypass checkpoints on accident. Some want to sneak onto flights. Others may be tired of waiting. The most common reason? Simple confusion, especially among older travelers who find the airport layout confusing. The insider truth. A lot of people lose their patience with the line regardless of how long or what the wait time might be. TSA even admits unhoused people, and people with mental disabilities are among those breaching exit lanes, often because they're confused. Thomas Carter, TSA's Federal Security Director for New Jersey, confirmed this publicly. Don't panic if you make a mistake. TSA deals with hundreds of confused travelers monthly. Stay calm, follow directions, and explain any confusion politely. The system isn't as scary or perfect as they want you to believe. It's run by humans dealing with human confusion every single day. Segment 10. The PreCheck alternative they keep secret. You think you need to pay $78 for TSA PreCheck to get expedited screening. Maybe you've been avoiding it because the application process seems complicated, or you don't want to pay that fee on a fixed income, or you're worried about the background check requirements. Think again. Here's what they don't want you to know. TSA PreCheck is not free for seniors, despite what some people claim. However, travelers aged 75 and older are allowed to keep their shoes and light jackets on during standard security screening, offering a partial benefit similar to PreCheck without the need for enrollment. This is official TSA policy, not some favor. But here's where it gets interesting. There are rumors that those who got TSA PreCheck free in the good old days won't have it much longer, but seniors still get some expedited screening benefits. If you're 75 or older, TSA usually allows you to go through the security PreCheck line, which means you don't have to remove your shoes or separate laptops or liquids from your carry-on. The industry doesn't advertise this because they make money from PreCheck applications. Why would they tell you that you can get similar benefits for free just by reaching a certain age? They'd rather collect that $78 from uninformed seniors who think they need to pay for expedited screening. If you're 75 plus, head to the standard screening line, but inform TSA of your age. You'll get many PreCheck benefits without paying the fee. If you're younger than 75 but have mobility issues, mention those as well. You might qualify for similar accommodations. Segment 11. The documentation strategy. Most seniors get wrong. You show up with basic ID, thinking that's all you need. Maybe you've got your driver's license and your boarding pass, and you figure that should be enough to get you through any situation that comes up at the airport. Here's what they don't tell you. In the event you arrive at the airport without acceptable identification, whether lost, stolen, or otherwise, you may still be allowed to fly. The TSA has procedures for identity verification that don't require standard ID, but they don't exactly advertise this fact because it creates more work for their agents. But here's the insider secret. Get copies of medical documentation outlining your situation, or a TSA notification card. Having the right paperwork can turn a 30-minute delay into a 2-minute conversation. The difference between a smooth screening and a nightmare experience often comes down to having the right documentation readily available. The industry hopes you'll show up unprepared because it gives them more control over your experience. When you don't know what documentation you need, you're at their mercy. When you come prepared with proper medical cards, backup IDs, and documentation for all your devices, you're in charge of the conversation. Always carry medical documentation for any devices or conditions. Have backup forms of ID and keep digital copies on your phone. Take photos of all important documents before you travel. The goal is to never be caught off guard by a request for documentation, because when you're prepared, the whole process becomes much smoother and faster. Segment 12. The airline escort secret for seniors. You think once you're through security, you're on your own. Maybe you're worried about finding your gate, or you're concerned about navigating those long airport corridors. But you assume that once you clear security, the airline's responsibility ends. Wrong. Here's what they're hiding. Consider having a friend or family member escort you to and from your gate. You can be accompanied to your gate as well as met at the gate of your destination by a family member or friend. Your escort does not have to have an airline ticket. They can get a gate pass that allows them to go through security with you. But it gets better. SeaTac Airport offers visitor passes, you say, when you want to go through security and book a time in advance. You still clear security and everything, but there's no cramped flight on the other side. Many major airports offer similar programs, but they keep them quiet because they don't want to be overwhelmed with requests. Many airports offer these programs, but they only issue a few dozen passes per day, so most seniors never get to use them. The airlines would rather you struggle alone than provide the extra staffing and coordination required for escort services. They've designed the system to discourage you from asking for help. Research your departure airport's escort policies, book visitor passes in advance, and request gate assistance from airline staff. Some airports even offer meet and greet services, where staff will escort you from curb to gate and from gate to curb on the other end. Stop suffering through airport navigation alone when help is available. You just need to know how to ask for it. Conclusion. So there you have it, 12 senior travel security hacks that the industry hopes you'll never discover. From that age 75 loophole that gets you PreCheck style benefits for free, to the TSA Cares program that provides personal assistance most seniors don't even know exists. These insider secrets can transform your airport experience from a stressful ordeal into a smooth, efficient process. The airport security system has dozens of accommodations designed specifically for senior travelers, but they're banking on you not knowing about them. Whether it's bringing unlimited liquid medications legally, getting alternative screening for medical implants, or accessing free wheelchair assistance, these 12 hacks can save you hours of delays and protect your valuable medical equipment. Next time you travel, you'll walk through that airport like an insider who knows exactly how to beat the system.